guys. Well, okay, this is a big milestone here because this, if you're watching, this is the first podcast I've had without a hat on. So, side note on me, real quick, I absolutely love hats. I've got a bazillion hats, and quite frankly, I'd probably wear bigger ones if it didn't look goofy in the screen. So, anyway, uh, I'll be a mixture of hats, no hats, but I love hats. So, and I have a ton. So, I got to get through wearing all of them. And, sometimes I have hat hair and I don't want to like fix my hair. So, anywho, okay. What I want to talk about on this episode is what I want this podcast to be so that it's making sense to everybody. Before this podcast grows, before guests start joining, before we expand into health, travel, money, and everything else, I want to tell you exactly what this space is meant to be because clarity builds trust, and I care about building this the right way. Welcome back to Carrie. It's Not That Serious. We've talked about the origin of the company. We've talked about starting scared. We've talked about the year that changed everything for me specifically. We've talked about why women's stories matter. So today I want to talk about where is this going and what this space is and is not. The world does not need more noise. Like I said, I think in episode 1, there's frickin' a million podcasts. Like, I'm fully aware of this. It doesn't need another podcast chasing trends. I don't want to go into that bucket. It doesn't need performative conversations designed to go viral. I want this to be steady. I want it to be a safe space. I want it to be intentional, grounded. This podcast is not about reacting. It's about reflecting and expanding. It's about growth. It's about creating conversations that live longer than some algorithm. Everything inside this podcast will run through one lens. And see, again, not about being perfect. I really want to emphasize that I am not master producing or editing these. I want this to be reflective of who we are, and we are not perfect. Okay? So, again, everything in this podcast will run through one lens, and that's growth, not hustle, not productivity for the sake of being productive. Growth, personal growth, professional growth, health growth, financial growth, emotional growth. And again, I've said it before, growth is not linear. It's layered, it loops back, it stretches you, you grow some, you come back. It asks you to evolve. And that's the through line here. You're going to hear conversations in several areas. The Women in Power interviews, our whips, the travel, because I want to make locations accessible and like tangible. So people will be like, I can do that. I love that place. I always wanted to go there. And also with the travel, what partners are safe for women when they're, gallivanting around the globe like a badass by themselves. Health, because hormones, perimenopause, nervous system repairs, sleep, like just all of it, real conversations about women's bodies. Like we're coming into this time where all of this new information is available and we should be sharing it. We should be helping each other. Like nobody should be struggling through anything. If there's tips and tricks, I want to bring them to you. If there's an amazing woman, that knows all about women's health, I want to bring her to you. Money, because financial literacy is power. There are more women now than ever coming into their own wealth, whether that's through inheritance, whether that's through they finally have their own corporate money has finally paid off dividends. There's just more women in control of money. And again, that is power. So we want to direct it correctly so that we can be giving, having conversations about what do I do now? Microdosing, something like microdosing. Okay, I am not the expert, but I want to bring some on that are talking about it. Women are doing this to be more efficient. It doesn't mean they're eating a bunch of prescription pills. It means they are doing something proactively that they want to have an alternate option for, to again make them more productive, or make them feel better, or make them feel like they can get through their day better, or be more efficient. So we're going to learn about that. And I actually can't wait, because it's so taboo to talk about. And it's like, why? Prescription commercials are on TV. Like, what is the problem? So I'm super excited about that. And it's mindset, it's mental expansion. It deserves thoughtful dialogue. Career pivots, reinvention, leadership, all these things, right? Motherhood, becoming. But here's the important part. And I just want to make sure that everybody understands these are not separate shows. They're not disconnected themes. They're different expressions of the same question. How do women build lives that feel aligned, that help them come alive? That's the center. That's the center of this show. It's not a space for comparison. It's definitely not a space for perfection. This is not a highlight reel. This is not hustle culture designed, or excuse me, disguised. Jeez, I can't talk today. Disguised as empowerment. It's not about having it all figured out. It's not about any of that shit, man. It's about navigating honestly and allowing us to be vulnerable and ask better questions. It's about expanding without abandoning ourselves, right? Like, we're allowed to grow. Like, that's allowed. Like, why? Like, again, the permission coming up, right? I want this podcast to feel like a deep exhale, like a smart conversation. I want it to feel like a room full of women that are super accomplished, but still human, right? Where ambition and softness coexist. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? It's like right now, sometimes I feel like we have to choose between being powerful and successful or being soft. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense. I'm a woman. I want to be soft. I don't need to be the boss all day. Maybe I am the boss in my role, but like, that's not all of me, or maybe I'm soft in my role. Maybe I'm a stay-at-home mom and I'm, taking care of everybody, making everybody's lunches, doing the laundry, taking care of the house. That doesn't mean that's all I want to be, right? So giving ourselves a permission to talk about it, to come together, to be in the same room, to be vulnerable enough to let ourselves go there, right? Like, getting rid of this perfect curated thing that I've brought up before. It's like, it's a place to be human. This is a place to be human. Again, where ambition and softness can coexist, where you can be powerful and evolving at the same time. You can be successful and still questioning what the hell's going on, or what am I doing with my life, where reinvention is normalized. Okay, like, why wouldn't it be, right? We always want to keep getting better. We always want to keep expanding and creating better spaces for ourselves. I'm looking at this with the long view of building something that is not just today and tomorrow, but many days, months, years past this. Not 6 episodes, not 6 months, years. Because women's lives don't unfold in short arcs. They unfold in chapters. They unfold in novels. The podcast will grow with you. As you navigate health shifts, as you navigate career changes, as you navigate motherhood, as you navigate death. This is life. As you navigate identity, who am I? We're not rushing this. We're building it. It's about, like, I don't know how to do it perfectly. So I'm going to make a million mistakes. I have already made a million mistakes. I've made mistakes in this actual recording. And again, I'm not editing. I mean, I probably will cut out some of the extra crap so you don't have to sit through too much, but I'm not editing. I want it to be so real to where you are feeling like we're having a conversation. We are talking to each other. And if you're listening and you've been craving conversations that feel expansive but grounded, this is your place. If you're building something and you don't want to burn out doing it, this is your place. If you're evolving and need reminders that growth doesn't mean chaos, like you can have growth and breathe deeply with me here, right? This is your place. And as we move forward, you're going to start hearing more voices, more stories, more perspectives, because elevation doesn't happen in isolation, right? It's not about me. It's not about what I think, although you'll hear that, right? I'll include that, obviously, but growth happens in community. And I have seen, I'm a part of a lot of different groups. I'm always trying to expand my experience or my opinion or my knowledge. That's how we grow, right? And I don't always make the right decisions. I don't always make the right choices. But one thing I've learned by being a part of some of these different communities is that there really is, for so long, we have been taught that, like, oh, there's only room for one of us at that table, or she's a bitch, or, women are out to get each other. And I had a really, really impactful conversation with one of my whips. She hasn't come out yet, like as far as like her whip story hasn't come out yet, but I cannot wait when it does, because she's super powerful, high level woman who's so emotionally smart. And we were having a conversation about the 80-20 rule, and I asked her to, like, tell me more about how she internalized that. And, I think sometimes we as women can feel like, oh my God, it's so hard to work with women, or, oh, like, she doesn't like me, or she this or that. And quite frankly, most of the time it's bullshit. Like, back to that 80-20 thing I was just mentioning, I think most of the time women, 80-20. Yes, does that mean that every woman is just, a delight? No, it doesn't. And have I been a bitch sometimes in my life? You bet. Like, I'm not perfect, right? I try to be good most of the time. But I think we all have the 80-20, right? And in groups, when we are looking at the larger number of us, right? I think it's 80-20 applies to us too. Like 80% of the time, or 80% of that group is wanting us to succeed, right? I want all of you that are listening to succeed genuinely. I do not wish for any of you not to succeed or grow to your full potential. 100%. And I think that 80-20, that 80% of all of us women feel the same. Do I think there's some bad eggs? Sure. Bad apples, whatever you want to call them. Stinky eggs. I do think there are people that struggle, and it's from their own from their own trauma, it's from their own bad experience, right? And so, well, do I think everybody is like really cheering you on to win? In a perfect world, yes, but probably mostly like that 80-20 rule, right? There's 80% of the women are wanting you to succeed. And so I think if I can do my part in shedding the light on that for so many women, I think that's powerful. And I think that really reminds us that this community is here for us. We've for so long we've been told there's only one seat at the table, and people can go on and on about patriarchy, but the reality is, us women, we are stronger together, and for the most part we're all rooting for each other. There's room for all of us at the table. There are seats for all of us at the table. I'll say it again. There are seats for all of us at the table. There never in the history of the world was a man who said, oh, there's only one seat for me at the table. Bullshit. They're all like, have full audacity that there are plenty of seats for them and their buddies and every other buddy they're ever going to meet. Okay. So us women need to take a page out of their book and understand the same thing. There's room for all of us. We are better when we come together as a community. When we connect with each other, we're so much stronger. There is so much power in that. And I'm here to shine a light on it. You guys already may know this, but I think when you hear it out loud and you hear from other women that are saying the same thing, it's so, so, so powerful. So just, I kind of went off on a tangent there, but next week I'm going to start sharing something more personal again about becoming the woman I'm still growing into. And then after that, we'll begin bringing in the whips directly into your ears, into your earbuds or whatever you're listening on. Because again, I think hearing the stories and hearing women, it's not just me, right? Like I wanted to introduce this podcast to you so you knew who I am and why I'm doing this and could kind of follow the line of what the hell, who is this woman and what the hell is she doing, right? I wanted to be able to explain that to you guys, but it's not about me. This is about bringing women together. It's about providing mentors and mentees, connecting them together, right? It's about providing a safe space. It's about highlighting these women in power. It's about raising up these amazing locations that you've got to go check out on your own or with somebody. But it's about all of those things. So I don't want it to be just me chatting into a mic and you're listening. And I don't want that. It's about us. It's about this community. So thank you for being here at the foundation stage. This matters to me. Like it deeply matters to me. And I know it's so important. We're building something thoughtful, something layered, something lasting. And as always, life expands, life stretches, it evolves, right? We grow, we evolve. This is okay for us to do, right? And of course, I can't end a show without saying, if I didn't tell you already, remember, it's not that serious. That's a wrap on today's episode of Carrie, It's Not That Serious. If this conversation resonated, subscribe and share it with a whip, a woman in power in your life. You can find more conversations, more community, and all the fun INTS merch you love at itsnotthatserious.com. We're building something meaningful here, and I'm so glad you're a part of it. Until next time, remember, it's not that serious.